Morning, everybody. 8:10 a.m. March 6th. It is Wednesday. Welcome to my channel. Yesterday, we had a sell-off, but by the close, the market already closed at the midpoint of the move yesterday, which is typical in this market. Zero DTEs, most likely. Usually, that's what happens at the end of the day. And then we went back to the midpoint. And now, recently, I just been looking. We're almost at the open of yesterday. So this market's nuts. All right, you had a lot of had some decent earnings come out. We'll go over that. Without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steve Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the market, along with gamma exposure level, supply and demand, the most short price of the month, the year, the week, and the preceding day, all to find structure in the market. And what I do is generally also anchor VWAPs. I just generally use those as a foundation to look for confluence and then possibly put a trade on when everything lines up, because multiple people use multiple things, so that gives you just a higher odds of probability. All right, so that's what we try to do here on my channel. And if you can give me a like if you like my content, or wait for the end. If you want to do that, you can also follow me on X at Gonzo719. Okay, let's get right into the futures watch list and see what is going on. Now we have Ether. Wow. Jesus. Ether's up 12.1%. Okay. Bitcoin took a dip yesterday. I saw Coinbase was having problems again. But Coinbase took a dip. Sorry, Bitcoin took a dip, got bought right back up. All right, it's up 6%. Just crazy. That's a crazy market. Crude, my God, crude, you're killing me. Up 1.13%. It's at a really heavily traded spot. Just waiting for the right time. Nasdaq is up 0.82. ES up 0.48. Russell's up 0.44. The Dow's up 0.3. Gold is flat. 10-year yield reports at 820. Okay, 30-year bonds pretty much flat, but down 0.05. Silver's down 0.10. The dollar's down 0.17. The VIX, you had a little fear yesterday. It's already down. It's already down 2%. All right, it's already down almost 3%. Okay, almost down at $1.50. So fear knocked right back out of this market. Doesn't take long, right? Doesn't take long. It's just crazy. This momentum is so crazy in the semis. And just remember today you have Powell testimony. All right. Not sure how that market's going to react 9:30 to 10, because he starts at 10. Could be muted. Obviously, open always a little volatile, but then I don't know. It's, people are going to be listening to that testimony. Okay, with a close ear. Let's go to the Mag 7 Plus coin. All right, 4% again, up. Just ridiculous. Closed yesterday at 216.77. It's already that's just crazy. Crazy. AMD's up 2.35%, BABA's up 2%, NVIDIA's up 1.62, Snow's up 1.17, Meta's up 1.11, Roblox up 1%. Crazy. Now, Lagger, do you have one? You do. Wow. That is something. Everything is up and Tesla's down 1%. Jeez. I just saw BMW is offering $1,000 if you come in and you're selling a Tesla. Like, they're offering $1,000 cash if for any EV vehicle if you buy one of their gas cars. So pretty nuts. I know NIO reported yesterday they just got a downgrade as well. Just amazing that Tesla is just shattering. Anyway, let's move on to the top sector stocks. Okay, Salesforce up 1%. Qualcomm's up 1%. Eli Lilly up 0.83. Costco's up 0.57. Costco, I believe, reports tomorrow. Goldman Sachs. I saw some banks are getting out of ESG this morning. All right, do we have a laggard? We do. Um, Home Depot. I haven't looked into why Home Depot um, is lagging this morning. I'm not sure if they got a price change or something. Let me look at that real quick. Right now I don't see anything. I have to look at that list. I'll look at that list with you guys in a little bit. Okay, so let's look at my swing trade list. All right. Well, CrowdStrike had earnings. They're also acquiring a company. So they blew out earnings, up 23%, followed by Palantir. What's the news on Palantir? Palantir's Army contract win sends stock surging. Geez, they just won a contract with the Army. All right, so then you got the MicroStrategy. They're getting an offering. Then you got the Bitcoin ETF, SoundHound, Mara, the usual suspects. Marvel, Supermicro Computers up 3.44%, ridiculous. AI, Taiwan Semiconductors, Broadcom, Fortinet sympathy in with CrowdStrike, Carvana, Palo Alto sympathy with CrowdStrike, VRT, Cloudflare, Datadog and sympathy. SoFi, I saw getting an offering as well. So that's what's going on now. Is there laggards? Well, Nordstrom didn't have good guidance. Wow. Abercrombie and Fitch reported they are down 2.18. Ross reported they are down 2.13. Allied Banks down 1.64. That's the laggards. Okay, if you look at a chart at Abercrombie and Fitch, it's literally meteoric. If you look at that chart, it is like, what the heck? So, I mean, just look at that chart. It's crazy. All right, so that's what's going on there. Let's move back to top sectors, and we'll finish it off with just our sectors in the morning. Surprise, surprise, semiconductors up 1.52. 1.52. Jesus. I just saw out of this SMH, I believe NVIDIA is 25% of this. So, then technology, the largest sector in the market, is up 0.92. Obviously encompasses semis. Then followed by communications. All right, everything's up. Nothing's down. Okay. Leader of the indexes this morning is the Qs. Okay. Dow and SPY are behind the Russell and the Qs. That's what's going on there. Right. Let's move on to economic calendar and some news. Right. And let's look what we have today. We have ADP employment change. Let's see that. That already reported. We were expecting 90K. We got 140. Okay, that should be, I mean, bearish really, but I see this market is up more. So at 10 a.m. you have Fed Chair Powell's testimony. Is he going to talk about cuts? Is he going to walk back something? Because there's even a rumor going around. There's no cuts. They're not going to cut it all this year. I don't know if that's the case, but that's what's been going around. He could definitely walk that back today, and the market will not like that. We came into this year expecting 6 cuts. Now it's down to 3. So very interesting of what happens there. Okay. Then we got crude inventories. And then we had Fed Daily speaking at 12 p.m. and Kashkari speaking at 3:15 p.m. That's what's going on for today. Fed Chair Powell testifies tomorrow as well, and Mester speaks. So it's just headline after headline, risk after this, that. This market is nuts. Okay. What do we have going on in news today? All right. So, CrowdStrike soared 22%. All right, Nordstrom fell 9.7%. I talked about that already. JD.com rose 11%. The Chinese online retailer reported fourth quarter revenue above estimates. All right, Coinbase stock rose 5% after cryptocurrency exchange benefited from a surge in crypto mania. No surprise there. Foot Locker reported earnings. Stock fell 11% after the footwear retailer reported a holiday quarter loss and issued weak guidance. All right, SoFi rose 2.9%, rebounding after personal finance company fell sharply in the previous session after setting it had plans to raise $750 million. I don't really care about those. That's what's going on there. All right. Let's see what the juice got for us. Not really seeing much in the juice. Let's see here. So let's see if this has been updated. Upgrades, Honeywell, Target. Target had good earnings yesterday. What else? Downgrades, we got Neo. All right, now coverage initiated. I'm just going to fly past some of these to see if there's any notables because it did get upgraded. CVS, equal weight, price target $78. Humana, equal weight. Let's see if there's any Super Microcomputers. It's rated at a buy, 1350 target price. And United Healthcare, overweight, 551 target price. And what else here? Nordstrom actually got a target price raise. Interesting. So did Ross to 160. And Target got a 160 target price raise to 195. That's what's going on there. Okay, so we can slip over to, if I didn't talk about this yet, let's look at the earnings. So today was JD.com, Abercrombie and Fitch. We just learned about some of those. All right. Yesterday we had Ross, CrowdStrike, Nordstrom. We talked about that. Campbell Soup reported this morning. I don't know what they did, but after the close today, we got Victoria's Secret. It's pretty much the only one that I recognize there that I see. All right. Tomorrow, Burlington, Big Lots, Kroger, American Outfitters, more retail, BJ's, Billy. That's about it for tomorrow. And then you got Costco, Broadcom. Those are big ones. Okay, for the chips, Marvel, Broadcom. So Gap tomorrow. So that rounds out some news. Now the other news here, I was just seeing here. Let's see here. CrowdStrike we know about. Just wanted to see if there was anything here. There's Foot Locker. And let's just say what they said about Foot Locker. I think we just saw that. Let's see. Foot Locker guidance issued shares fall. All right. I don't have to go too deep into this. Yeah, we'll move on. Let's move on to the daily charts. All right. Give me 1 sec while I bring it up. Okay. Here we are. Here we are. That channel boy has been something else. Every time it hits there, we take a dip down. All right. Now yesterday, all right, let's go to the beginning of some of this channel. All right, so yesterday we came down to where I said we could find support around 505, right? You have, this was last week's lows right there. So that's where we came down and we found buyers. We closed right at the 90 EMA daily. Again, that was the wick right there at that channel. Gap down. And we went all the way down here. I talked about that this morning, yesterday. Okay, where are we at now? We're almost at 510. We're basically 510. So we are right there. I talked about this before. It's at the open of yesterday. That is nuts. Okay, we're at last month's highs. Right here. Okay, not quite into the gap yet. but now we're gapping up the, we're not gapping in futures because you're inside yesterday's range, but you're just all the way back at the open after yesterday. Basically, it's like, all right, that was a nice dip. We'll wait for Powell now. It's crazy. Crazy. You don't get follow through in this market with selling. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So we have to see what happens today, okay? We didn't quite hit this trend line, but we did hit this key support. Okay? Is this time going to be different? Now you can see it is a key resistance level here, right here. 510. It is a key resistance level. Okay, so you got last month's highs, you got a prior week's highs here. You can see this candle's high, this candle's high, right? This candle's high. So there is resistance here. Does it, you could say it's a head and shoulders pattern could possibly form, because eventually you're going to get some correction in this market. You're eventually going to get it. Does this come back down here and come back and test 505, break out of this trend line? And do we test this trend line, right? 50-day moving average down here. This would be key support here around 491, 491.76. Call it 491, okay? Let's see. We'll see if that happens. Qs, okay? Qs had a little trend line. It broke it yesterday. I can get rid of that. Okay. So, what are the Qs doing, right? Big gap. Qs went all the way down here, and I talked about this level yesterday around 435, 434. That's where we found support right here, the 20-day simple moving average, right? Hit that, couldn't close below it. Hit this key level, and we closed here. Okay, we closed right there. Now, where's that Q's at? We're almost at 440, but we're at 439.84, 439.84 right here. So in the same kind of structure, both of them. So you're not quite at the last month's highs, right? But if we look at this, there's a candle's high, there's a candle's high, there's support, there's resistance. So that level around 440 and a half, call it 440, call it 441, 440 and a half, that is very, very key. Okay, if you start hitting your head and we can't go higher into this gap, right? And the Fed starts pulling back these cuts, any kind of talk like that, we're probably going to revisit 435, 434. And if you break that, okay, if you break that, you got a level at 430. And then if you follow this trend, you have a level here at 425, and then all the way down here. Now that the 50-day moving average would probably be around 425 at that point. So that would probably be where we fall with this trend. They probably meet somewhere around here. Okay, who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. So that's what's going on there. We can go to the bond market. 10-year yield fell yesterday. Just weird. So let's look at it now. It's pretty much flat. Probably waiting for Powell. So let's look at this 10-year yield. What are we doing with yields? All right, what are we doing? So really crazy. You had this big drop in yields. Then you drop yields again. Then we rose, and then we dropped again. Right at the 50-day moving average, below the 200-day moving average. It's a web of moving averages. It's waiting for Powell. Okay, that's basically what that means. And the VIX, where did we spike to yesterday? We spiked to 15. That's what I talked about. Real fear is over 15. And we momentarily hit the 200-day moving average, and we drop back. All right, we're back at 14. Still no fear really in this market. Okay, not when every dip gets bought. Dollar. The dollar is trending down a little bit. It's really just hanging out at the 200-day moving average. Again, we're going to wait for Powell's testimony to see what's happening. Okay, that's what's going on there. All right, now as far as the market structure for the market profile, let's look at what we did. Okay, let's look at this together. let's really see structurally what is going on. You're really gonna do this again to me, huh? Alright, give me a little sec here. This little marker thing is acting up on me, so give me a second here. Let me just re-engage it. Alrighty. Alright, let's look at this together. Alright, so here's our profile for the week. Let's look at it. So we have our move down yesterday. There's the volume there. And then we get into the value area. 70% of the trade has happened here. Okay. Very ugly profile. Okay. What it looks like to me is a bullish imbalance. You have incomplete profile to the upside, right? I don't know if we continue higher, but it looks as if we might based on profile. Okay. We spent a little brief time down here. We hit this demand yesterday, popped back, closed right here. Okay, now a big important thing has happened in the ES. Okay, the most traded price has now moved of the month up. It finally moved up. We're at 50.85 is the most traded price of this month. 50.85, right there. Price is here at 51.11. Okay, now check this out. This is why I love the anchored VWAPs. Here's our anchored VWAPs. The thick one is the monthly VWAP. The less thick is the week to date VWAP. Did you see where this market just went? Sellers are in control. They're in red, but they're barely in control. You went right up to the anchored VWAPs and supply, and now you're getting a little excess here. And are we going to fall back? Because now this is a very, very key area here. Okay, because we opened here, pushed up, and then made single prints here, and then you went boom, all the way down. And guess what? Got bought up, right? So very key now. Now the most traded price of the week is here in the RTH session, and the most traded price of the month is here. So around, just call it 5,090, this area is recoiling again. Okay, the most contracts traded in the last month in the week are right here. Okay, if we stay in this general area, and of course what happens to be Powell's testimony. So in the next couple days, if we stay around this area, even if we pop up, go back here, pop down, go back here, it's queuing up energy for the big move, down or up. Okay, down or up. Okay, so that's what's going on. You have ultimate balance in the ES now. Ultimate balance means ultimate big move. Okay, now if we look at structure in the morning, there's yesterday's highs, there's yesterday's lows. We have a poor low. That's a double bottom in the 30-minute bars here. It's a poor low that usually gets repaired. Repair just means it gets broken. Okay, that's susceptible to be broken. Okay, that literally lined up with the bottom of a bunch of lows to the left, to the tick. So very, very exact buy point there for the market yesterday. Okay, so we have our gap now. Here's a gap from yesterday, right there. Right there's the gap. Okay, single prints, right? So here's our highs, here's our lows. It's a poor low. All right, usually those get broken. Okay, went right in demand, popped up. Now we are inside yesterday's range. Here's the overnight high, here's the overnight low. You have like a double distribution here in this profile here. You have distribution here followed by excess, not excess, single prints, And then you have this session. So you have like 2 sessions in one. Okay. Inventory. Let's look at it. That's the short to this much long. That's probably about 80% net long. All right. So you're above this major level. That's the line in the sand. 50, 90, call it in the middle. So what do we do from here? Oof. All right. So the bulls have to defend this. Now, that's basically what they need to do, is defend this. Now you have some references here. Okay. Big one here would be especially the overnight low. It lines up with the most traded price of the month. So if the market, like I said, needs to defend this, if it comes down here and we do one of these, boof, you do have demand there. But if you do hold down there, you're going to probably finally break that poor low, and you're going to go into the old gap that still has not been filled. Okay. But craziness. This market is crazy. Okay. All right, let's look at this. So let's look at a bull scenario here. Okay. Now I'm not in love with this chart right now, just because you have huge levels here. Okay. You're going into a supply zone and a gap above. You have a gap below and above. Okay. Big gap to the downside has not been filled. You have yesterday's gap above us. We're in between 2 gaps. Okay. That's how crazy the market is. Now, you do have a supply and VWAPs from the month and the week right here. That's going to cause resistance right now, which it is. Okay. So what you could see happen is the market push up. I don't know if the market opens up here, but if it does, I'm going to guess it's going to try to fill this gap. If it fails here, even if it goes in a little bit, there's supply right there again too. So it can do this, fall under those VWAPs, right? You have single prints from yesterday. You can definitely find yourselves in this area. Wait for Powell. Now, I just gave you my bullish scenario, right? Now, what I mean is, now that I'm saying this, yes, there's demand here, and you could hold this. Okay, now if Powell talks and says something positive and we're in this area, that's where you get the long. So you can see I'm going to play this area. Okay. So this is based on what I feel will most likely happen. Take the froth off this morning move, come down to the most traded price in this area, and then based on Powell, you can move higher. Okay. Now conversely, if you're very bearish feeling this morning, like I said, you have a gap and supply, 2 anchored VWAPs, the monthly and the week-to-date VWAP. Okay. Sellers are in control right now. I know these levels are here, right? But sellers are in control based on the month and the week. Okay. And now you already have had your buying. Okay. Think about this. You have buying from here and here. And remember, we only had this much short, this much long in the overnight. Okay. How much room do you think they can just go up with Powell coming up? So just like I said, I think he can push and try to fill this gap. And you even have, like I said, a little supply right above there. And if it fails and you cut through these anchor VWAPs, the longs that just came in from yesterday's lows and from the overnight are going to cover. You're going to rip through these single prints and you're going to wait for Powell. And you're going to go right into this area, like I said. And we'll probably hang out here. And based on Powell, if we do this and do this, you're going to test and break this poor low from yesterday and start to see if you can close and fill the gap. I would say look at this level here That's 5043 about, and then 5030s and naked VPOC with a demand zone is possible where we can go. That's going to be a big move because this support has not really been broken with this poor low right there. That's what I see. Okay. Pretty clear. All right. Pretty clear. Now remember, you have big Powell talking. You don't know what's going to happen. Right. So any kind of selling will get longs nervous. Now, move over to the NASDAQ. Let's see what the NASDAQ is doing. Let's make this a little smaller here. Okay, maybe even a little smaller than that. Okay, so let's look at this together. It's really got a bullish imbalance to it as well, right? Because you had to move down yesterday. Value area is up here. And you have a very incomplete profile to the upside. So, you can come back up here and we definitely see us move higher. Okay, now, the most traded price of the week moved up here. And the most traded price of the month is 18,015 in the most traded price of the year, right? So that's a huge level. Price is above that now. Shockingly. Couldn't stay below it. I mean, if we stayed below here, if we were down here, I would be like, this is bearish. But we're not. We're above it. Okay? We're above it. Now, so we have the major level here. And the market is above it. Okay? What do we have above us? Most monthly VWAP and week-to-date VWAP. And a supply zone, just like the ES. Just like the ES, here's our gap above us. And yesterday, we went into that old gap a little bit. I didn't adjust it because I wanted to show you guys that we actually finally went into this gap a little bit. And it's a big one. Gaps usually get filled, okay? So that's why it's very important. We went in there, and then what did we do? We closed close to the mid, but we closed below this level. But in the overnight, you can see the exuberant buying right there, and we're above it. So this market's nuts, and that's where we stand. Now the structure in this is very similar. 18,015 is the defense for the bulls, and I could see us coming right back in here, waiting for Powell, just like the ES. Okay, so it's the same scenario. I'm going to really quickly go over it. It's the same setup. This is the line in the sand. Okay. We're inside yesterday's range. We have a gap above, gap below, just like before. Okay. Most traded price of the overnight is here. Okay, so we are more long in the tooth in the Nasdaq. There's the short to the long. Okay. So what I would like to see is a push up into this supply, into the week-to-day view up, monthly view up. Try to fill that gap. If you fail, okay, and you come back through and you rip through this most traded price overnight, we're going back to 18,015 and we're waiting for Powell. Okay, again, if Powell talks about cuts, talks about he sees that in the future, we are going to move back up and most likely try to fill that gap. Okay, conversely, on the short side, okay, like I just said, kind of liking this in the NASDAQ with this 100% net long, and they're long from the lows, right? So move up into supply, into the anchored VWAPs. If you fail, just like I said, we're probably going to cut through this most traded price. You're going to go land right in here. It doesn't matter. You could even do this. I think we bounce and we hold. And then based on Powell, if he's a little more hawkish with these cuts, we're going to move back down to yesterday's lows and start trying to rip into this gap. That's what I see. Okay? That's the story for today. Hope that all made sense to everybody. Probably going to be a quick trade. So, pay attention to be quick. All right? Pay attention. And if you enjoyed my content, please give me a thumbs up or a like. All right, you can always follow me on X at Gonzo719. All right, so got our plan. I don't know how crazy I am about it because of Powell coming up at 10, but I do believe this will be quick, and it's not always easy to get that trade off. So I'm gonna wait. All right, and then listen to Powell. That's about it. So everybody, good luck, stay green, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.